Hello, I wanted to present to you all the sketchbook I did this past year, most of this year. I wrapped it up fairly recently, and yeah, just thought I would do a little sketchbook tour. I did this a couple of years ago with a previous sketchbook, and I thought it was fun, and it was a nice way to just kind of go through some of the images, some of the paintings I did, and it really is a nice way to kind of bring up different trips and different activities that I was doing, because really these sketchbooks kind of capture a lot of what the last year was about. So first thing I just wanted to note is it's not, it's a A5 or no, B5 size sketchbook. You see, so this sketchbook it's A4, so I think that's a little, I think it's maybe A5. So when it opens, you can see it has quite a panoramic effect, but it's not too big. So here we go. First spread. It's always a little bit daunting to start a sketchbook. So a good way to start was actually just to paint with the girls. So that's something that we do quite a bit. I start painting and then they start painting, or vice versa. So that's what this was pretty much all about. And then you can see here the bowl of fruit, or the basket of fruit. That's the same image, or the same model basically. I try to play, I like to really zoom in a lot of times with my paintings in the sketchbook, because I've had the tendency to sort of draw things too small or to zoom out too far. But in a lot of ways, it's almost easier to get some of the colors, especially when you're drawing with a paintbrush, as a lot of these images are. That's basically just sketches, but using a brush. So this is from a figure drawing session, which I teach, and at the end of the session, I usually have a bit of time, or let's say on the long poses at the end of the class, I'll sometimes paint as well. So these are just some day-to-day images or moments from Nice. So there's some ping pong tables here, so you can see a couple of players playing some ping pong here at the park. Or yeah, there's a park, and then there's some old buildings around there. I remember just being really intrigued by the way that the light was cutting across. And then this is Yvonne and Dora. They're just making a cake. They're making some cookies. Yeah, they're gonna make some cookies. So you can see she's helping out with that. So I have quite a few images from bars and cafes, that's where I will go to meet up with friends during like a drink and draw session. Or if it's a urban sketchers session. So here is one from a drink and draw session. This one was done so this is just in downtown Nice, in a bar in downtown Nice. It's still, I guess it's, March, so we're inside. Usually, a lot of times we're actually outside on the terrace, but it might have still been pretty wet and cold. Actually, this is, let's see, what is this? This is March 9th. Okay, so it's a few days later. But you can see she's wearing a jacket. So this is from an urban sketchers session, and we went to Villefranche. Villefranche, it's the Rue Obscure. It's a pretty interesting old, almost like an alleyway, and it's completely covered. And so you have all of these arches and stuff. Pretty beautiful. Another figure painting session. Here, I might have presented this one already before in the video, but anyway, this is from downtown Nice, Rue Garnier. There's apparently a really, really good bakery here. I've never been. So, just another little urban sketch. And here I am in Japan. So this is from Kamakura. See, there's a little pond. The cherry blossoms are out, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so this was done. We had a little break at the end of one of our excursions for lunch, so I did a little bit of little painting there. And then this is from Hakone. So yeah, when we had our excursion to Hakone and Lake Ashinoko. So you can see the other gate there. So there's two. And it was very wet and very rainy, so as you can see. And so it was beautiful. We couldn't see, so Fuji's on the mountain. Fuji is a little bit over to this side. So cropped out of the view, but we couldn't see it anyway. It was way too cloudy, way too rainy. Here back in, back in Nice. So this is in the Gare du Sud. So every Sunday there's a meetup at the Gare du Sud. It's a old converted train station that has now been used as kind of like I guess a restaurant, but they're going to turn it into a cultural center. Yeah, one thing about, I'm not a big fan of actually the spread. I think the vertical view it's not as easy to pull off with this format. But anyway, here's another, so Drink and Draw. That's Natalia from Drink and Draw. These are some students from my figure drawing class, and here I'm painting them as opposed to the model. More characters, more friends from Drink and Draw. There's Nelson, there's Guillaume, plus some figures from Corfu, so that's starting to creep in. So we're still not there. Yeah, this is Kosorlu, the really beautiful small river that passes through, and it was just gorgeous how the sun was sort of, breaking in through the foliage along this river. This is at a playground park, and there are this couple here, a guy was taking a nap, and their friend, I don't know, who was just chilling there on the bench. Meanwhile, the girls are playing behind this unfinished fruit study. So this is from, is this Corfu? No, this is from One Lepelme. So this is just before our trip to Corfu. But summer is here, as you can see. So, of course, lots of images of at the beach. Good time to sketch, good time to paint figures. Some ink. I saw kind of a figure here. You can see the back. Figure embracing another figure. Okay, now we're in Corfu. I already posted quite a few of these images, I think, before the Corfu sketches. So, yeah, pretty much lots of bright, warm colors, you know, high contrast, you know, always pockets of light that I try to preserve because it was just, you know, the sun so bright. Also, I just loved how everything had this, you know, the cast shadows. Everything has this sort of sparkle to it there. So I wanted to just keep a lot of bright areas undeveloped. You know, just keep it more or less suggestive. So. Anyway, I think I've shown some of these already, at least on the newsletter. This was fun. This was at a monastery just nearby Moripo where we're staying, and the sister who is taking care of this place, she told me she wanted this image, and I said okay. Just so you know, though, I've already painted. And she's like, oh, and she's like, well, then just come back. So I did. I came back. Oops. And I did a bigger one, a better one for her. So, and then these guys are playing tavli, backgammon. You can see them all circling around. Oh, okay, here's another one. The two girls sort of digging for stuff. A big rocky beach. Where's this again? I forgot where it was, but really cool beach right here, like this rock. They climbed up on this rock. I'm gonna go behind. There's kind of like a cave. And this pier here by Monaco Beach was so cool. I loved over on this part over here, just super. It was like a perfect diving place. So all these kids would go and jump, and also just lounge. So I love just sketching people there. Random sketches here. Now we're back in Nice. This is a figure from Gare du Sud, that same place I told you about. This is also from Drink and Draw. One of the fellow Drink and Drawers, she brought her dog. This is also in Nice, so we're at the Cour de Soleil in the market, the Soleil market. Just doing some sketches. A lot of these are, it's funny, it's kind of like while the girls are at the playground, I'll just try to do what I can. And I try to sketch them. You've only like super stretched out here, but they were just moving super fast. A couple of portraits from the Gare du Sud, so it's a couple of fellow sketchers. This is from Place Garibaldi. That's the tower behind. I think it's San Francis, Tour San Francis. And I think that's it. Yeah. So and then there's a lot more. This one is from Italy. We did an excursion to Pisa, and this is after, and it's actually raining really hard back there. But we just took the time, so we had a little bit of time to sit, and there was, I think they were German, table of Germans, just hanging out. So I did them, and then this is back in Nice. This is the Drink and Draw group once again, and we're all just sitting around. And this is also the last page, so usually, actually it's not the same paper, but I mean, come on, you could draw it on pretty much anything. So that was it. You can see it's a lot of similar images. I usually sketch only, it's a perfect, by the way, this was an Etcher perfect sketchbook. You know, I find that a lot of times when I'm sketching, it's just when I have sort of a little bit of free time or downtime, and a lot of times I have to create that downtime by finding other people to sketch with, you know, or sneak it in my class, or, you know, let's say when we're at the beach with the girls. But this coming year, because I'm about to start a new one, I am going to try to do just maybe a little bit more small stuff, almost more along the lines of this. You know, maybe maybe bigger views, but also smaller views, things that are just more slice of life stuff, whatever is in front of me. And instead of, you know, reaching out for the telephone, maybe just reach out for this instead. So at least that's the aim. And that's about it. This was a shorter tour, still pretty long though. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share your thoughts, and wishing you all a very happy holidays as they're coming up. All right, thank you very much.